The recommendations of the Auditor General shall be implemented within the first 90 days. Suffice to me to state this. Let no one be left to doubt as to my party-led government and about our firm determination to stamp out corruption in our country. A country that goes around the world begging for assistance cannot afford to waste it. In any case, corruption is a major contribution to our poverty. Through the proposed Planning and Fiscal Budget Act, we shall seek to eliminate the misapplication, diversion of public funds, and planned activities or projects. We are committed to reduce the high cost of government. At the moment, you have more ministers, and some of them you don't know what they do. All you see so many flags going around, but what they do you don't know. And now when they're every day they are on the airplane going somewhere, and when they come to London, even the people at our mission, they don't even know that they are here. Those things we have to adjust, because why have a mission here and bring some permanent secretary to come here? Tell these people to go there, that's why they are here for. You save lots of things. They are going to expose them to go and represent our government. A major austerity and performance improvement program aimed at curbing wastage shall be initiated to achieve cost savings. The funds which shall be made available shall then be applied to urgent capital development projects in the rural districts, as well as need for infrastructure reconstruction in the most adversely affected urban areas. A PF-led government shall seek to exploit benefits of the ICT and merits to improve the performance of the public service, including operations of foreign missions and overseas travels. The Auditor General and Public Accounts Committee of Parliament have both repeatedly reported abuse of financial resources and blatant thefts of public funds. The PF government shall fully implement within 12 months all collective recommendations of the two institutions. In our endeavor to stop abuse of office, we shall consider the proposal to name and shame culprits of theft cases. To contain reckless borrowing, debt contraction, and any borrowing for public projects shall require parliamentary authorization and their application restricted to high payback projects and programs. The PF-led government shall seek to enhance the country's ability to achieve and sustain balanced budgets, but shall restrict use external support through grants and loans to capital projects only. Zambia must live within the financial resources that it generates. We shall seek to exploit and commit within 12 months of our assuming office to the development of hydropower generation projects to increase from the current 1,800 megawatts to 6,000 megawatts of power generation within 10 years. We shall also overhaul the entire taxation regime, simplify taxation, and reinforce tax collection to achieve improved collections. The mining industry should pay a fair share of the taxation which everyone else is paying. I have often been challenged on how PF will enable citizens to have more money in their pockets while lowering taxes. My simple answer to that is that we shall achieve substantial revenue increase by stamping out corruption, misuse of funds, streamline the government operations, costing saving schemes, reducing cost of doing business. I believe that the foregoing measures shall lead to higher employment levels, achieve savings for government and business, and improve performance and efficiency. My brother Simon Sukat will bear me. When we were in government, we never imported bottles for putting beer and minerals. We were making them at Capri Port, but today Zambia is importing bottles. Can you imagine? Now there are more minerals which are being consumed But when we have to import the bottles and those things, they break. Now those are some, and we have people, all of you here, black and white. We have highly qualified human beings. All you need is to stand up and be counted and have a place in your own country. I believe that the foregoing measures shall lead to higher employment levels, achieve savings for government and business, and improve government. Our economic policies shall be based on smart partnerships to achieve mutual benefiting position for investors and the government. Providing appropriate resources, they shall be within internationally accepted norms and in tandem with United Nations standards for sustainable development. We accept and we shall attract investors to Zambia, but we shall not accept or invite partnership for a horse and a rider. Zambia shall not accept partnership for a horse and a rider, which is the current which is going on now. If you go to China today, you find very clear rules in China. Every single investment you put in China is for the benefit of the Chinese. But when you come to Africa, things which we should have avoided, they are happening in Africa. We have, in this era, 47 years of independence, we are giving some people economic zone land free of charge. Why don't we give English economic zone also? Give the American economic zone. Those are pitfalls which we create, and that's because of corruption. In this regard, it is illustrative to reflect on pronouncements of the United Nations Commission on Development and Environment, which has defined good governance as follows: as the exercise of the economic, political, and administrative authority to manage a country's affairs at all levels. It defines good governance as participatory, transparent, and accountable. It is also effective and equitable. It promotes the rule of law. Good governance ensures that political, social, and economic priorities are based on broad consensus in society, and that the voices of the poorest and the most vulnerable are heard in decision-making over the allocation of development resources. We shall seek to adopt this UN standard for our own development and investment criteria. There can be no justification why Zambia should have one of the highest taxation levels, while at the same time industries that are making the most profits, such as the mining industry, should hardly pay taxes, yet they exploit a non-renewable national resource. There shall be no nationalization policy, but there shall be need for realignment of private versus national interest based on smart partnership. Private sector that promotes national individual interest shall be encouraged, bearing in mind the need for the equitable contributions by all taxpayers. Private ownership shall continue to be promoted, and Zambians who are able to meet sustainable long-term investment shall be deliberately supported to participate in their national economy. Zambians shall be offered similarly attractive investment opportunities and incentives as their foreign counterparts. The provisions of Citizens' Economic Empowerment legislation shall be invoked to ensure that Zambians are also enabled to achieve greater participation in their own national economy. Let me state categorically that while Zambia can at this point in history not be said to be a rich country, it is equally true that it is neither a poor country. Our belief in PF is that the country is richly endowed with natural resources, but the economy is poorly managed. The focus of our economic policies and the thrust of our actions shall be directed to achieving a balanced budget which should contribute to reducing the level of inflation and interest on borrowing. Other economic measures shall therefore include increased capital project spending, especially in areas of infrastructure, roads, power stations, schools, hospitals, airports, harbors, and both in magnitude and quality. use of earnings from the mining sector to diversify the economy away from non-renewable mining towards renewable agriculture, livestock and fisheries. Agriculture and associated renewable sources of income shall be made the backbone of our economic activity, as it will be the surest way to reduce poverty among our people, because our centrality in SADC region, we shall seek to make Zambia a food basket of the region due to our comparative advantage. We fairly recognize that investors seek good returns on their investment. We accept and do not have difficulty with that expectation. We shall seek what they desire to see or apply in their own home countries. Investors will continue to freely externalize their profits, but we shall insist on capital investment that will stay for longer than what has now become a tradition of changing ownership every 5 years. I have often been asking how PF can put more money in citizens' pockets. Our concept is